Jeremy Sports Network coming to you live. How's everybody doing on today? Man, what a weekend we've had so far in the sport of boxing. Man, it was a really good weekend, man. I've had, an awesome past 2 weekends, given the fact that we had Scott Quigg fight. That was a tremendous fight, right? And then this is followed up with what we got with Jose Ramirez and Amir. This was everything we thought it was going to be, all the way down to the T. I felt as though, and I said this all along, that this guy and Jose Ramirez has something special in him that a lot of fighters don't have. A lot of fighters don't have it. And given the fact that a lot of fighters don't have what Jose Ramirez has and what it is that he is bringing to the game, oh man, he sets up 140 pound division and makes us, feel hopeful for what is to come at 140 pounds. I mean, albeit Mikey Garcia is right there, and not only is Mikey Garcia right there, but Regis is right there. Now Jose Ramirez is a world champion. You know what I mean? So it's only continuing to get better as time is going on within this thing, man. Now I know there's a lot to talk about on today. We got a really good show for everybody on today. We got some really good topics, man. We've been hearing news, coming out of the Errol Spence camp, given the fact that, not Errol Spence camp, but the Terrence Crawford camp, given the fact that now Crawford is not going to be able to take on Jeff Horn at the given date that they're supposed to go at it. But his trainer, Brian McIntyre, has been in the news lately and has been talking a whole lot of noise. So we definitely are going to dive into that and see what it is that he was saying and get everybody's thoughts on that as well. And we're also going to be talking about Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder, man, I don't know if he has AJ scared based upon what it is we've heard from Anthony Joshua right now. But if you ask me, I'm thinking the guy is scared. The proof is in the pudding. Am I right? You got to say the proof is in the pudding based upon, the particular comments that were stated from not Deontay Wilder, but Anthony Joshua's camp. And so we're going to definitely get into it. But first, I want to go ahead and dive in and talk about this fight. This was perhaps one of the best fights I've seen in a long time from a guy in Jose Ramirez's standpoint, right? And Jose Ramirez is a really good fighter. I mean, the guy is just, he was, what a class act, right? I felt as though he was going to win this fight all along, given the simple fact of the motor that he has and the heart that he has inside him. Amir, to me, has been very skeptical based upon his last 2 performances. And going into this title fight right here, I had issues with Amir. I had very big issues with Amir. And those issues that I had, a lot of people was not talking about at all, period. A lot of people was not discussing at all, period, because they felt as though Amir was going to be the guy who was going to be able to become the WBC champion at 140 pounds. Now, I'm not saying Amir is done here. But when you look at a guy in Jose Ramirez and you look at the quality of competition that this guy has faced, Mike Reed was 23-0, beat him by knockout. I thought, honestly, Amir was going to be knocked out in this fight. It got almost close to that point. And I was just excited about the whole thing in its entirety. But we're going to dive into this fight, and we're going to talk about some of the key things it is that happened and took place in this fight. And I want to get everybody's thoughts on this because this was very interesting to me. Because the way the fight started out, you felt as though Amir was there. You felt as though he was there and he was going to make this a hell of a fight. This is what you thought. You thought it was going to be a hell of a fight. I thought it was going to be a hell of a fight. And I'm pretty sure a lot of other people thought, Amir was going to make this fight one of the fights of the year. because it was built to be that. It was built to be a Fight of the Year candidate. And given the fact that this guy did not show, I'm not going to say that Amir Imam didn't show up, but I had problems with a whole lot of things that Amir Imam did in this fight. And I feel as though he has reached a level that a lot of fighters are now starting to reach and understand and know that, hey, it's time to change this thing up. This whole entire thing it is you doing, it's time to change it up. And what I mean by that is, for one, as you just saw in this clip, what the hell was Amir Imam doing with the shoulder roll? Why are you trying to articulate a Floyd Mayweather skill set in the ring, given the fact that, for one, the shoulder roll was just not working for you at all, period. I don't know what your corner was telling you, albeit we was watching the fight on ESPN. When you watch the fights on ESPN, you never really truly get to hear what is happening and taking place within the corners because of the commercial breaks. But when you get into the championship rounds where they don't go to commercial break, that's when you start to hear their trainers in the corners and what it is that the trainer is telling them. We've come to a place to where adjustments in fights seem to be second nature. They seem to be second nature. And I just really, truly don't understand why we're at this point right now of where we are in the sport of boxing. Why? How did we get to this, to where fighters don't even know how to adapt? We sit here all day long. You have people all day long criticizing guys like Floyd Mayweather, criticizing a guy who went undefeated, right? And one thing it is that he said that I love about what it is that he always say, and I posted this a while ago. I said a true champion can adapt to anything that comes his way. He can adapt. Did we see any adapting in this fight at all? Did we see Amir Imam adapt to what it is Jose Ramirez was doing in this fight at all? Absolutely not. We was far from seeing it. I had issues all night long. The first 3 rounds, I felt as though Amir Imam was fighting a hell of a fight. He was fighting a perfect fight for the first 5 rounds if you go back and you really pay attention and look at the fight. I went back and I looked at this fight twice. I looked at it twice. I didn't get to watch the fight live, given the fact that I went to the Fox Theater. With my wife, and we was able to watch a really good orchestra. You know, it was my first time going to, an orchestra or whatever the case may be, but it was really good, right? But I come home, I watch the Amir Imam fight, and I say, you know what? I'm going to sleep on what it is I just saw. And when I wake up in the morning, I'm going to see if I have those same feelings again the second time around. So come second time around, I end up having the same exact feelings from Amir Imam. And it looks as though this guy was defeated already in the ring. Now, hands down to Amir Imam, he had the heart. He showed really good heart. Really good heart. But at the same time, the guy, to me, it just wasn't there. It wasn't there at all. And I had issues all night long with looking at what it is Amir Imam was doing. He was not making the necessary adjustments at hand. He was not doing the necessary things in order to even make Jose Ramirez slow down. Jose Ramirez was nowhere near slowing down at all, period. The guy was coming, and you knew he was coming, and the fact that you didn't do anything about him coming, and all you did was the same exact thing all night long, trying to dictate what it is that he was going to do, but you weren't even doing that well. You couldn't even dictate what it is he was going to do well. Jose Ramirez, he got him with, the left hook was landing all night long. The shoulder roll that he was trying to land, you could see him trying to throw the shoulder roll right there, but Jose Ramirez was coming over the top with the left hook all night long. The overhand right was landing all night long. His jab was landing beautifully all night long, and he was setting it all up off the jab. Shout out to my boy Courtney Pennington on getting his victory this weekend. We didn't get to talking about you yet in the show yet, but hands down, this was a whole different Amir Imam. I've never seen him like this before. I don't know if it's him not being one-on-one with his trainers and what it is that they're seeing in the ring, because they all night long they was telling him what to do, which I felt as though was the right thing. Go to the body, you can slow down the machine. If you go to the body, you can slow him down. Jose Ramirez was coming forward, but Amir Imam could not do anything at all, period. The times where he was getting into the body and was getting inside, he fought a real good fight inside, but the thing is, he kept putting his hands down. There's no way you're going to be able to fight inside and you continuously putting your hands down. And when you put your hands down like that, you're going to eat shots and take shots that are going to affect you as the fight continues to go on and on and on and on. It's going to affect you. And it happened. And it was bad that it happened, given the fact that Amir Imam, to me, I felt as though this was his fight. This was his time. This was his opportunity to do something special. Albeit you had the Bob Arum versus Don King, you know, Don King having Amir Imam on his corner, and you had Bob Arum having Jose Ramirez in his corner, and you know they went back on the history between the two promoters, and it all trickled down to fight night and to the fighters, and it was a hell of a fight. Don't get me wrong at all, period. Jose Ramirez did a masterful job. I love the way he came out in the 12th round. The way he came out in the championship rounds, you knew that it was a different mindset. Matter of fact, this goes back to what we was talking about earlier, Kingpin, when you told me that heart, you can't estimate a person's heart. A person who wants it bad enough. A fighter who is willing to do everything, give everything up on and put it all on the line in order to become a world champion. Jose Ramirez had that in his eyes on last night. He had it in his eyes. The way he came out in the 11th and 12th round, especially the 12th round, he was blazing saddles, man. He was blazing saddles, and I as a fight fan, that's something that you can appreciate, given the fact that, okay, you know what? He knows he has Imam on the ropes. And given the fact that he has Imam on the ropes, guess what? He's going to continuously come. He's going to continuously bring that dog out of him, right? And he did exactly that. He took it up a whole nother level. And Amir Imam, given the fact that he seemed defeated, albeit in the 7th round, from the 7th round on, Amir Imam seemed to be out of the whole fight completely. There was nothing that he can do. He couldn't stop the jab from Jose Ramirez. He really couldn't get inside to try to slow down Jose Ramirez at all, period. He could not make any changes at all in order to adapt to what it was that was happening to him. And that's a problem. If you can't make necessary adjustments and your corner is not telling you what to do. Now, I will say this. ESPN do not give, you an opportunity to hear what is happening and taking place in the corner. You only get a little bit of what Joe Tessitore tells you, once they come back from commercial break or whatever the case may be, of what it is that each corner is telling you, until we get to the championship rounds, to where they don't hit commercial break. All I heard last night was them saying, you know what? After the 7th round, it was skip plan A. We going straight to plan B. You got to go to the body, and that's it. It would just go to the body. They just kept preaching all night. Go to the body, go to the body, go to the body, go to the body. It was nothing that he had in his arsenal to be able to stop Jose Ramirez. It was nothing. I didn't see anything at all, period. I just didn't see nothing. And the fact that I didn't see nothing, man, I'm sitting here, I'm feeling like, you know what? Maybe this is the end all be all. This is the end all be all for this guy. Because there is no way you allow something like that to happen. Not to that magnitude in a title fight. No. But you know, I don't think Amir Imam is done at all. Period. Do I think it is certain things it is that he needs to do in order to get back to championship level? Absolutely. But as of right now, I'm thinking you got a guy in Jose Ramirez who's feeling like a rock star right now, man. At 140 pounds, he got the WBC. Terrence Crawford was in the building. Rigas was in the building. That is the fight that I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to happen next. How is Bob Arum is going to play this thing out when it comes to Jose Ramirez now? You know, how is he going to be able to defend his title? Is he going to go immediately into unification? Or is he going to, you know, take on some other opponents and give them an opportunity, give himself an opportunity to defend the crown? Is he going to be taking on the third, fourth, and fifth contender within the division? I mean, within the WBC? I didn't get an opportunity to look up those mandatories of who it is he will have to be facing next. But if you're Jose Ramirez, what is it that you do at this point? Well, Rigas is his mandatory. Rigas is his mandatory. And I've been hearing a lot of people say, well, Rigas is going to dominate Jose Ramirez. I don't know. That is a hell of a fight. Rigas versus Ramirez is a hell of a fight. And I think Prograis has everything in his arsenal in order to be a real champion. We saw what he did to Julius Ndongo. Albeit Ndongo just came for the damn check. He didn't show up to be a part of the fight. He just showed up for the check. And Prograis put him to sleep. But at the same time, it won't be easy cooking for a guy in Jose Ramirez. He's going to bring it. And that's scary because you got a guy who has the potential. I'm not saying that he's going to be the next unified champion at 140 pounds because you got Mikey Garcia who is right there. But now it's quality competition right now at 140 where I feel as though Mikey can go ahead and focus on fighting at 140 pounds and cleaning up all the titles there instead of moving up to 147 where there's too much smoke that's right there that Mikey Garcia, I feel as though, is not ready for yet. Mikey's not ready for Errol Spence and Thurman and those guys. Albeit you beat Adrian Broner at a catch weight, you know what I'm saying? That's AB. We know what Adrian Broner brings to the table when it comes to fight night. He don't let his hands go. Now, is it going to be the same Adrian Broner who's going to face Jesse Vargas? Is this going to be a Broner who lets his hands go against Jesse Vargas? If he does, he's going to be very victorious. Very victorious. And going to be making noise. But right now, if you're talking about a guy who in Jose Ramirez, man, he's a rock star right now, right? The guy's a rock star right now. But it's really interesting to seeing how this 140-pound division starts to cook up now. But like Terrence Crawford stated on Twitter, since he left 140, you know, everybody seemed to be a dog now at 140. And I agree. I agree with Crawford. Where were these guys when he was there at 140? Where were they? While he was too busy beating everybody else and grabbing all the titles, where were they at that point in time where he needed those big fights? They weren't there, but they're there now. And it's not like he's going to backtrack because he's at 147 pounds now. He's not going to backtrack. But you know, it remains to be seen. It's a whole lot of other things it is that we got to get to and discuss on today. But that was just one thing, man. That whole fight with Amir Imam and Jose Ramirez, to me, I just felt as though Amir Imam dropped the ball. And I can't blame. You can put some of the blame on the fighter. But then again, I don't know who really gets the full just of the blame, given the fact that, hey, I don't even know if his team put him in the best position to be successful come fight night. I just don't. I was trying to figure out what was his game plan after the first 3 rounds. because he looked marvelous in the beginning of the fight. I felt as though it was going to be a hell of a fight. The first 5 rounds, I thought Amir boxed his best that he did in a long time in the first 5 rounds. He was slipping punches. He was utilizing the jab, and he did land a beautiful uppercut. It was a beautiful short uppercut in a 3rd round that he landed, which was phenomenal. And I felt as though, you know what, he's going to continue to bring on the pressure. But then I seen somebody post, oh, it looked like he hurt his right hand or something like that. And it was like, well, I don't buy too much in the injury unless it's very noticeable. But I didn't notice him, acting as if his right hand was hurting at all, period. I don't know. It remains to be seen. We haven't heard anything as of yet. If anybody that's tuning in heard of anything happening to his right hand, I mean, please let me know. I haven't heard anything as of yet, personally. But at the same time, it was a hell of a fight on Jose Ramirez's behalf. It was a hell of a fight on his behalf. But thanks everybody for tuning in. You are watching JSN Boxing, man. This has been a wonderful weekend in sports. If you're tuning in, please like and share the show. It helps with the visibility of the show. You are now tuning in to JSN Boxing. We're about to move on to the next topic, and we are talking Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder. The comments that has came out of Anthony Joshua's mouth as it pertains to Deontay Wilder. When will it stop? I just want to know, when will it stop? Because it don't seem to be stopping anytime soon. Am I right? Between these two guys, do it seem to be stopping anytime soon? I mean, we all been sitting here and been waiting to see what's going to happen and take place between these two guys, right? I'm sure everybody has been waiting on that. I've been waiting on it. But the thing is, when you got guys like this who are at the top and can be a big draw right now, let's tune in.
Alabama power. Joshua, be ready. Are you up for the test? Because I know I'm the best. All you got to do is set the date. Don't wait, mate.
I'm gonna do whatever I gotta do. Since he haven't heard me say anything, then hey, now the man himself there with the voice, with coming to him, telling him, don't wait, take the day.
Wilder. Eddie Hearn say you live in fantasy land. You gonna say something
Eddie Hearn is just another white man milking a black man. That's all it is. It's easy. It's about time for somebody to say it and come out with it. And I don't hold my voice. I don't have no filter, and I speak what I said because that's his actions. That's his manual, what he's been doing. He's been milking Annabelle. And Joshua been letting it, because if Joshua really want this fight, he know how to make it happen. They say they got so many things going on. I paid sit aside money with my mandatories. That's easy. That can be happen. Get the fans what they want to see. People want to see it right now. They hide behind all these different things. I made them many offers. They talking about offers. Every last one of them declined.
Right?
They just came to America talking about another fighter. They didn't even mention him. But they want to go back and run back and talk about we didn't offer nothing. That's bullshit. The British fans soak everything up this man say. But in the end, they're going to look stupid. They're going to look stupid. I can't wait. Y'all ain't never seen a fighter with so much desire and oh my God.
2 more questions.
But,
Hey, I've been saying this all along. There is no way at all that this fight can't happen this year. But this is funny though. If Anthony Joshua defeats Joseph Parker, they asked Anthony Joshua, will he allow Deontay Wilder to come to the ring? Right? They asked him that. He said no. What the hell do you mean no? Now, I tried to figure out, okay, well, let me play devil's advocate here. on Anthony Joshua's behalf, right? If I'm Anthony Joshua, given the fact that, you know, I'm the world champion here, I'm the top dog, I'm the A side, and no knock on Wilder, you know what I'm saying? But Wilder, he is the WBC heavyweight champion. But I'm Anthony Joshua, right? I'm the A side, and given the fact that I'm the A side, why is it that, you know, I have to allow a guy in Deontay Wilder to come to the ring and this is my moment. I defeated Joseph Parker and captured another world title. This is my moment. Right? You can look at it from that standpoint. It's his moment. That's the only thing I can give him. It's the fact that it's his moment, and he probably, you know, won a beautiful fight against Joseph Parker, a credible opponent, a guy who is very tough, and can perhaps, you know, bring some good competition to Anthony Joshua. So he wins that fight. So it's his moment, right? We understand that because, you know, people had issues with Sean Porter stepping into the ring against Danny Garcia. I didn't have an issue with it, but you heard people saying, you know, this is Danny's moment. Let Danny have this moment, or whatever the case may be. That's understandable. But at the same time, the heavyweight champion of America flies to London. Everybody's raving on this fight right here in particular between Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder. And you don't let him get in the ring? Matter of fact, let's go back to when he fought Klitschko. When he defeated Klitschko. Not one, Deontay Wilder was there. Not once did he mention Deontay Wilder's name. He mentioned Tyson Fury. Who the hell cares about Tyson Fury right now? Albeit Tyson Fury is doing everything it is that he can to get himself back into the forefront in the sport of boxing. That is good. He's losing the weight. He's doing what he should have been doing for a long period of time. But right now, the biggest fight right now in the heavyweight division is these two guys right here. And the fact that he did not pay knowledge at all to Deontay Wilder after the Klitschko fight, he didn't do it after the Takam fight, and he's sitting right here talking about you ain't gonna let this man in the ring after the Joseph Parker fight. And you know, this is the problem that I have with it. The reason why I have a problem with this is because guess what? If he allows Deontay Wilder to get into the ring, that is going to draw so many fans. That shit is just going to go viral. It's going to have an uproar of people wanting, chomping off at the bit of having this fight happen this year. There's no running from Wilder once you're face to face. There's no running. There's no running at all, period. This is the perfect fight. But the fact that you say that you don't want this man in the ring, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what else to say. I really don't. I mean, let's finish hearing what Wilder had to say.
So now is the time to see who's the best, and that's all I want to see. Who's the best? I say I'm the best. I want to see. He never say he's the best. He ain't even confident enough to say that. But we'll find out real soon.
This man never said he's the best. Like Wilder said, Wilder's the one who's going around pushing this thing. He wants, you know what? He wants this fight just as bad as he wanted a world title. He want this fight right here in particular. And he said that he's willing to accept the 40%. The 60-40 cut, he's willing to accept that now. So now, what is the issue with Anthony Joshua allowing, you know, for Eddie Hearn to go ahead and get things in place to make this fight happen? What is the issue now? You don't want him in the ring come post fight. If you're Deontay Wilder, I feel as though you should just go ahead and go beast mode and just walk on in the ring and let him know how you feel. Because then at that point, it ain't no running. There is no running. You can't run from this. at all, period. He can't. It's nothing else that he can do from this point on and this point forward. It's nothing else. If you're Anthony Joshua, I feel as though Joshua's afraid. And albeit I hate to say it because, you know, I feel like AJ is a really, you know, cool guy, humble guy. But at the same time, you got a guy who feeling like he's on a whole nother level. And the guy you got feeling like he's on a whole nother level right now, he's chomping off at the bit, and there's nothing that you're doing about it but running. You coming up with all kind of excuses on why you don't want that Alabama power. But at the same time, this is the reason why, you know, we love the sport, right? Because for one, you can only run for so long. Eventually, the fans are going to call for this fight and do everything that's credible for this fight to happen. We're the consumer. We're the reason why you're getting the paydays. So once the fans start really doing their job and putting the pressure on the promoters, then we're going to start getting the things it is that we want. And we're seeing it now coming from Showtime. We don't have to worry about that at all, period, with Showtime Boxing. Showtime Boxing has been giving us everything it is you can ask for as a fight fan. Now, I appreciate everybody for tuning in. This is Jeremy Sports Network coming to you live. Please like and share the show. It helps with the visibility of the show. Please call in and give your opinions. 443820984 is the call-in number. We are talking Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder. Jose Ramirez defeating Amir Imam in a really good fight on Jose Ramirez's behalf. Amir Imam did not live up to the task of what it is we thought he was going to do. And we got some other news. Brian McIntyre, trainer of who? T. Bud Crawford, has been in the news talking some trash. And hey, I don't know how to feel about this. I mean, I really don't. I really don't. And those of you who haven't, you know, heard the interview with Brian McIntyre and him talking that trash, you know, about Errol Spence, calling out Spence, dude, I really felt as though it was disrespect on the camp of Crawford, on what it is that they're saying about Errol Spence. Oh, he's easy. He's a walkover. You know what I'm saying? He's the easiest fight. He's an easier fight than Keith Thurman. But Keith Thurman is the one who's running from Errol Spence. But let's dive into this particular interview right here and see exactly what it is that Brian McIntyre had to say.
Weights in the division, and let me know quick answers what you think of him. And the first is the guy who most fans think that it's going to come down to, and that's Errol Spence. What do you think of Errol?
We're going to fuck him up.
Okay, all right, that's pretty quick. Keith Thurman.
We're going to fuck him up, too.
Now why, man? Come on, Bo, man. Give me
you said you gonna name some names. Come on, dog.
Right.
We already know why we go.
Same exact answer.
Hey, we already know why we gonna fuck Errol Spence up.
What's the easier fight?
Danny Garcia.
No, I mean between the two champions in the division.
Who?
Errol Spence and Thurman. What would be the easier matchup for you?
To be honest with you, man, I would probably pick Errol Spence.
Okay.
I would probably pick Errol Spence as an easier fight.
I don't think anybody's going to agree with that.
See, if I keep elaborating on this question,
you're going to give too much away.
Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you.
You don't have to. You don't have to, baby. All right, what do you think about an Errol Spence and Keith Thurman matchup?
Errol Spence gonna have a little problem with Keith Thurman.
Really?
Until he get to him.
Okay. And why is that? Is that giving up too much?
There we go again. Yeah, there we go again.
The same flaws.
Okay.
Yes.
Keith could utilize it and Bud.
So y'all heard it right there, man. Brian McIntyre saying that this guy, well, they really don't want to go into true detail on why they feel as though Errol Spence is the easier work than a Keith Thurman. They know Danny is easy, but Errol Spence, they say, is the easiest word. You know what? I feel as though when you start talking trash like that, in all honesty, you feel as though this guy is the easiest work. I really think you know that this guy is the toughest work. He's the toughest work. Everybody knows he's the toughest. And the reason why they know he's the toughest, guess what? It's easy for people to say, oh, he's the easier work. It's easy to say that. He's the easiest to take on. We're talking about a guy who has been wanting to fight the best, steaming to fight the best. But nobody is giving him the opportunity at all, except for Kell Brook. And you hear the champ right here say Crawford going to have problems at 147. Don't let that shit talking fool y'all. And I agree wholeheartedly. And I've been telling people this, even the Jeff Horn fight. Jeff Horn, albeit Jeff Horn is a really tough opponent. He's the bigger guy, has the bigger frame. He can out-muscle Terrence Crawford, who is the smaller guy with the smaller frame. He can out-muscle him. He may not have the particular skill set of a Terrence Crawford, but he can do things to where he can make the fight really tough for Crawford. So I don't feel as though it's going to be as easy as people thinking Terrence Crawford is going to walk over this guy. It's not going to be as easy. I told people before, if you go back and look at the fight with Gamboa, Gamboa was doing great things in this fight. Great things in that fight. I don't know what happened and how he dropped the ball. I don't know if it was Crawford switching southpaw and he couldn't adapt at all, period. Or maybe his inactivity of being out of the ring, you know, kind of caught up with him at that particular time. But he was able to put pause on Terrence Crawford earlier in the fight. You gotta call a spade a spade. So now you going up into a division of 147 where you got bigger guys, stronger guys, and at the same time, they all are fundamentally sound at something in particular. That's the key here. Errol Spence is fundamentally sound. Keith Thurman is fundamentally sound. These guys are fundamentally sound. Danny Garcia is fundamentally sound. Danny is a really good fighter. They feel as though Danny is the easiest of easy work. But Danny Garcia is no slouch as well. You gotta give him some kind of credibility and respect. It's not going